The Halo games we see today are only a fraction of what was originally discussed for the franchise. Many Halo games have been completely axed early in development for many reasons. Not following what the franchise was all about, or just not having the time and resources to execute such a big project. Today, we are diving into the world of cancelled Halo games. First, we're going to be looking at the cancelled Halo DS game. In 2004, rumors of a handheld version of Halo were floating around, which were quickly dismissed by Microsoft. Eventually, a few years later in 2007, a member of IGN claimed he played a version of Halo for Nintendo's DS. Months later, he showed off the game on camera for everyone to see, and it was a multiplayer game of Zanzibar on Halo 2. It would have been awesome to see this come out. There was a multiplayer and even dual wielding. Unfortunately, we have never seen Halo come to a handheld console. The Switch is literally perfect for the original Halo games, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The next game we're going to be looking at is called Titan. A 40-person team was assembled to work on this game, which planned to be an action-adventure sci-fi MMO. Development was in full throttle in 2004 with a budget of around $90 million. Taking inspiration from World of Warcraft and other RPGs at the time, this game was shaping up to be something really good. There was an estimated 3 years remaining on development, so they axed the project and released Halo Wars instead. How would you like to have seen a World of Warcraft style Halo game? Personally, I think that would be awesome. Halo would probably be in a completely different place if this game had released. It looks like you'd be able to swap characters as well, like you could play as a Marine or you could play as a Spartan. And the concepts for the landscapes look really cool as well. We got the desert and the jungle and the Forerunner city in the background. That's one thing I wish we saw more of in Halo in general, just different biomes and landscapes. There's not really more than 1 or 2 missions per Halo game in a different biome. So having whole open worlds so you can explore every single one of these biomes however you would like would have been such a cool concept. And it being done in an RPG game too, like that's perfect. They had such good ideas going. It just sucks that we've never seen this style of game for Halo before. I think it would fit so well. Halo Chronicles. This was a project in development for the Xbox 360 back in 2006, which was ultimately canceled in 2009. Chronicles was a completely different style of game. Joe Staten came up with the concept of you being the bullet. They wanted to take the player through a gameplay journey from just being a regular human to being a technologically modified human. The player would play as a Marine who had been captured by the Covenant as a slave. You would then acquire an alien arm and then eventually be transformed into a Forerunner Promethean. And this is where we're able to see the early concept of what Prometheans would look like in Bungie's games. The player would be able to switch between different combat styles, one being a massive melee attack. Once you were fully Promethean, you would fight and attack Covenant cruisers in low orbit, taking the form as a missile to destroy different parts of them, which is just completely unreal. Testing for this game went on for a while, but with no story to go off of, it was impossible to develop a campaign with missions. Momentum for the project died out, and it was eventually canceled in 2009 to focus on Halo 3 ODST and Halo Reach. The 2011 canceled project. This project was in development in the late 2000s and early 2010s, and used lots of assets from the era of Halo, such as the assault rifle from Halo Reach. Multiple environments were modeled for concepts such as a frigate and a massive underground Forerunner structure rising out of the ground, and an early concept for the death ray, which was later used for inspiration in Halo 4. This project was rumored to be the early development for Halo 4, and it would make sense because the frigate ship concept was like the Dawn at the beginning of Halo 4, and there was the death ray in the middle of the campaign. I can't believe there was a Halo Mega Bloks game in production and it got canceled. I do not understand who said no to this. This was perfect for Halo. You could have a game for the kids and a game for everyone else. You don't have to make it T for teen. The little animations are so cartoony and so charming. The gameplay looks fun too. Driving through, shooting a bunch of coveys, completing little objectives and parkour courses. There would have been full-on customization too. Like, that's such a cool concept. What you are seeing on screen now is 10 months of development in 2013. We don't know any of the specifics of why it was canceled by Microsoft, but it was very sudden. That's all we know. The main reason why I think this game was canceled and not released into the public was because it wasn't Lego. It's an off-brand Lego, so no one's gonna know what Mega Bloks are. They're not gonna buy Mega Bloks Halo. They want Halo Lego. Everyone knows Legos. They don't know Mega Bloks. That's one of the big reasons why I think this game got canceled. I need to go speak to whoever said no to this. Next, we're going to be talking about what became of Combat Evolved. Halo was originally planned to be an RTS game made for the Mac. As development on the game continued, it then turned into a third-person game, still using a lot of assets from the Macworld RTS version. It then evolved into a first-person game, which was then shipped onto the Xbox. But pretty much everything that you see from this RTS version is completely cut. All the enemies, weapons, vehicles, there's almost none of that seen in Combat Evolved. There's a mod on Halo MCC where you're actually able to go back and play some of this cut content, which is really cool to see that the modding community is still thriving on Halo. Halo Online. We all know the infamous Halo Online. Running on a highly modified Halo 3 engine, this game was planned to be a multiplayer-only PC Halo game. With Halo not being big on the PC until 2019 with the release of the Master Chief Collection, modders and fans were pushing for this game to become a reality. This game featured tons of original maps, up to 16 in-game players, new weapons and vehicles, and even playable elites. There were so many reasons to love this game, and the community did, with over 12,000 players online until it was eventually shut down so that they can release Halo MCC onto the PC. Later down in the MCC's lifetime, a bunch of content from Halo Online was added. Almost all the new armor and maps were all added to MCC, which is really cool, so now we don't have to be bummed about no Halo Online. In 2017, Halo Wars 3 was rejected in a pitch. Concept art for this game revolved almost entirely around space combat, and the pitch was rejected because they didn't know exactly how space combat would work in a Halo Wars game. In the new space battle mode, a capital ship would act as a home base for the player, which is where the player would prepare and deploy ground forces. The ship would be upgradable and customizable with ship-to-ship combat. Although space combat was a massive focus, ground combat would be there as well, with concepts of up to 6 different land environments. This game ended up being cancelled, and we still don't have a sequel to Halo Wars 2, which sucks because honestly Halo Wars is really good. It gets shit on a lot for being an RTS game, but for it being its own spin-off title of Halo, I think it's perfectly fine. And the whole home base concept was so cool. Imagine having a massive space battle over the Ark. Like, that's so sick. Would you guys have liked to see the concept for Halo Wars 3 become a reality? Let me know. Lastly, we're going to be looking at Halo Starfighter. Right after Halo 5, 343 were looking up to new horizons for the franchise. They knew they had to come out with something great as their next game. They had worked on early prototypes of a game in 2015 to 2018 called Halo Starfighter, which took lots of inspiration from Halo Reach's mission, Long Night of Solace, featuring expanded upon space combat. This was playable at a certain moment in time, and it sucks to not see any of this in Halo Infinite. Imagine flying a broadsword around Zeta Halo, blowing up and taking out banished carriers, and doing anything you can to save the UNSC. That would be so dope, but nope, we got Halo Infinite.
You alright, Marine? Yeah. Thank you.
Go here, do a pointless task. Then go here, do another pointless task. Oh wait, I'm not saving your blue balls, squad. And watch more cutscenes. Don't get me wrong, I liked Halo Infinite's campaign. It's infinitely better than Halo 5, but it's still nothing near any of these concepts. It's just bittersweet looking at these unreleased Halo games because there's so much wasted potential of the Halo franchise. There's so much unexpanded on ideas in the universe, such as space battles. We barely get to see any of that in Halo's games. And it's a sci-fi game. It's a game about space. We need more space battles, guys. Come on, this is unacceptable.